Pull up a seat, everybody, and I mean pull it all the way up, because in the next 30 seconds I am about to hand you the single most catastrophic celebrity marriage implosion of this entire decade, and I am telling you right now, before we even get into the receipts, that what Papoose just did by that swimming pool is not a scandal, it is not a mistake, it is not a slip. It is a full-blown career funeral with a boxing champion holding the shovel and Remy Ma standing across the street laughing so hard the whole industry can hear her. This is the video that is going to end Papoose's entire brand. This is the video that is going to prove Remy Ma was telling the God's honest truth for the last 6 months while the internet called her a bitter liar. And this is the video that is going to make Claressa Shields wish she had never, ever picked up a phone camera in her life. I have been staring at this footage for the last 8 hours with everything I've got in me, and I am telling you, with everything I've got in me, that Remy Ma is not just winning this war, Remy Ma is standing on the necks of 2 people who thought they were smarter than her, and Remy Ma is not even breaking a sweat. Papoose. Papoose is bringing a butter knife to a courtroom sword fight. And Claressa Shields, undisputed, undefeated, 2-time Olympic gold medalist Claressa Shields is about to find out that being a champion in the ring does not make you a champion in the timeline, because the timeline hits harder than any left hook she has ever thrown. Picture this with me. Because if you have not seen this video yet, I need you to build it in your head the exact way it hit my phone. A resort pool. Late afternoon. The kind of golden hour light that a publicist would kill for if the person you were filming was not currently dismantling their own 15-year mythology on camera. And there, stretched out on a poolside lounger like a man who has completely given up on public relations, is Papoose. The same Papoose who spent a full decade, telling every camera that would point at him that he was the one man in hip-hop who did not cheat, who did not stray, who did not fold, who did not flinch. Papoose. Sprawled. Legs out. Chest exposed. Looking, and I am being generous when I say this, looking like a man who wandered into somebody else's photo shoot and cannot find the exit. And right there beside him, in the water, wrapping her legs around him like she is trying to send a message to somebody very specific who is watching very closely from very far away, is Claressa Shields. And Claressa Shields is holding the phone. Claressa Shields is the one filming. Claressa Shields is choosing the angle. And I need you to hear me on this next part, because this is the part everybody in the mainstream coverage is missing, that is not the angle a woman uses when she is trying to protect a man's image. That is the angle a woman uses when she is trying to make sure a very specific woman watching from a very specific address sees exactly what she wants her to see. That is a warning shot angle. That is a, look what I have, angle. That is a receipt in high definition. And Papoose in that shot, Papoose does not look like a man in love. Papoose looks like a man who has not had a single peaceful night of sleep since the calendar flipped to January. Papoose looks like a man doing time in a 5-star vacation. Papoose looks like a man who is finally starting to understand that the woman he swapped his marriage out for might not be the woman he actually wanted, but he can't say that out loud because there is a camera in his face and the caption has already been written for him. Now here is where the whole thing detonated. Because yesterday, Claressa Shields, undisputed champion of the world Claressa Shields, went on her own platform and told her fans, and I am summarizing to keep the reporting clean, that all she does is train hard, come home, and let her hubby Papoose rub down her legs and her back after a long session in the ring. Hubby. Her word. Her chosen vocabulary. Her caption. And she stamped a date on the whole thing. August 15th. Go time. Like this is a promo poster. Like this is a pay-per-view undercard. Like the state of New Jersey does not currently have a marriage certificate on file with somebody else's signature already dried onto the page. Let me lay the timeline down for you, because I know somebody in the comments is already typing, she was just being cute, and I need to shut that down before it starts. Papoose is legally married. Papoose has been legally married to Remy Ma since 2008. Papoose has children with Remy Ma. Papoose has a household, a mortgage, a mailbox, and a marriage license with Remy Ma. Papoose has, according to every publicly searchable court record in the state of New Jersey, never once filed for a divorce. Not in 2023. Not in 2024. Not in 2025. Not one single filing. So when Claressa Shields, in full public view, on a platform with millions of eyeballs, calls Papoose her hubby, that is not a cute nickname. That is a legal event wearing a smile. Because in the United States of America, in every single state including the state where Papoose currently resides, being married to two people at the same time is called bigamy. Bigamy is a crime. Bigamy carries jail time. And in New Jersey specifically, under Statute 2C, 24-1, bigamy is classified as a fourth-degree crime carrying up to 18 months of state prison time and up to $10,000 in fines. Now, pay attention here because this is where the culture writers are dropping the ball. Papoose has not legally married Claressa Shields. There is no marriage license. There is no ceremony on record. So the hubby caption is a social claim, not a legal one. But social claims live forever on the internet, and social claims get subpoenaed. Because in a family court proceeding, and trust me, family court is exactly where this is heading, that hubby caption becomes evidence. Evidence of intent. Evidence of cohabitation. Evidence of an emotional and financial entanglement that predates any divorce paperwork Papoose still has not filed. If Remy Ma's legal team decides to bring that screenshot into an alimony hearing, into a custody negotiation, into a division of assets proceeding, that one word, hubby, is worth more than every belt Claressa Shields has ever won combined. And that is why I do not believe Claressa Shields did this by accident. I do not believe it. I refuse to believe it. Because you do not fight your way through 2 full Olympic cycles, you do not become the undisputed champion in 3 separate weight classes, you do not build a boxing career the way Claressa Shields has built hers, by being careless with your positioning. Claressa Shields is a strategist. Claressa Shields calculates every step she takes. And strategists do not accidentally use the word hubby when the entire internet is watching, when the ex-wife is one Instagram post away from lighting the whole world on fire, and when the man in question has not even started the paperwork on his current legal marriage. Claressa Shields knew. Claressa Shields knew what she was doing. Claressa Shields wanted that screenshot in circulation. And now Claressa Shields is going to find out exactly what happens when you drop a receipt on Remy Ma without checking who owns the courtroom. Which brings me to Remy Ma. Because while Papoose is out here running practice husband drills by the pool, Remy Ma has been doing something completely, radically, catastrophically different. Remy Ma has been in the studio. Remy Ma has been on stages. Remy Ma has been outside, hugging her fans, kissing her baby, walking red carpets like a woman who already knows how this movie ends. Remy Ma is not stressed. Remy Ma is not sweating. Remy Ma is not even in the same emotional zip code as the pool video. Because Remy Ma already told the story. Remy Ma already gave the testimony. Remy Ma already put it on wax 6 months ago, and the entire internet, including some of you watching this right now, decided she was making it up. Let me remind you exactly what Remy Ma said, because this is the part that changes everything. Remy Ma went on the record, in writing, on a public platform, and told the world that Papoose was not just cheating during their marriage. Remy Ma said, and I am paraphrasing to stay inside the legal lanes, that Papoose was aggressive during one specific incident. So aggressive, according to Remy Ma's own account, that construction workers who were doing renovations on their property called the police to intervene. Construction workers called the police on Papoose to get him away from Remy Ma. Those are her words, not mine. That is not a rumor. That is not a subtweet. That is not a jealous ex-wife trying to salt her ex-husband's next chapter. That is a documented, public statement about a documented, public incident. And what did the internet do 6 months ago when Remy Ma told that story? The internet laughed. The internet called Remy Ma bitter. The internet called Remy Ma a liar. The internet called Remy Ma a woman trying to protect her image on her way out of a marriage she couldn't save. Well, here we are. 6 months later. And Papoose is currently sitting by a pool, legs open, being filmed by a woman who is calling him her husband on the internet in front of God, every entertainment lawyer in New York, and every family court judge in New Jersey. And suddenly, the woman who told you 6 months ago exactly what kind of husband Papoose was does not look like a bitter ex-wife anymore. Remy Ma looks like a witness. Remy Ma looks like a whistleblower. Remy Ma looks like the only person in this entire triangle who has been telling the truth the whole time. That is the tape. That is the tape. That is the tape. And if you are not ready to say Remy Ma was right, then you have not been paying attention. Because the receipts are stacking, the pattern is closing, and the man in the middle of it all is currently baking in the poolside sun while his brand new girlfriend live streams the funeral of his 15-year marketing plan. Now here is what nobody in the mainstream press is willing to say out loud, so I am going to say it right here, right now, in front of every single one of you. Papoose has an image problem that no amount of money is going to fix. Not now. Not next month. Not next year. Not ever. Because for 15 straight years, Papoose sold a very specific story to a very specific audience. That story was, I am the loyal husband. I am the ride or die. I am the one dude in this entire industry who did not fold, did not cheat, did not run. That story is what got Papoose on magazine covers. That story is what got Papoose on talk shows. That story is what got Papoose the respect of an entire generation of black women who wanted to believe, desperately wanted to believe, that at least one man in that industry was different. That story is dead. That story died in that pool. And you cannot resurrect a brand built on loyalty when the whole world just watched you get filmed by a second woman calling you her husband on the same weekend your first wife dropped a diss record. You cannot. There is no interview. There is no publicist. There is no rebrand tour. There is nothing Papoose can say, wear, post, or announce that walks that footage back. Papoose is not just losing his marriage. Papoose is losing his entire mythology. And in hip-hop, the mythology is the money. The mythology is the merch. The mythology is the streams. The mythology is the endorsements. Once the mythology dies, the man standing behind it becomes very, very expensive to defend. And Claressa Shields, I need to talk to you directly for a minute, because I know somebody around you is going to make sure this video makes it to your phone, and I want you to hear me on this. Claressa Shields, you did not just fall in love with somebody. Claressa Shields, you walked into a war zone that was already on fire, and you decided to open the front door, invite the cameras in, and pose for a photo shoot in the middle of it. And listen, I hear you. You are a champion. You do not run from smoke. That is admirable. That is beautiful. That is exactly the mentality that got you 2 Olympic gold medals and the undisputed crown. But Claressa Shields, there is a very important difference between not running from smoke and pouring gasoline on your own legacy because you think it looks like a photo shoot. And what Claressa Shields is doing right now, with the HUBBY captions, with the poolside videos, with the August 15th go time announcements, is not defiance. It is not strength. It is not champion energy. It is a strategic error of catastrophic, career-defining proportions. Let me stack the receipts for you one more time, because I know somebody is about to hop in the comments and tell me I am being dramatic, and I want the facts to do the punching. Fact 1, Papoose is currently legally married to Remy Ma. That is public record. Fact 2, Claressa Shields, in writing, on a public platform with millions of viewers, referred to Papoose as her hubby. That is a screenshot. Fact 3, Remy Ma, 6 months ago, alleged in public writing that Papoose had a documented history of aggressive behavior serious enough that third-party witnesses called the police. That is documented. Fact 4, Papoose has never once, in any court in any state, publicly filed for a divorce from Remy Ma. That is the absence of a filing, and in family court, the absence of a filing is a fact just as loud as any signature on a page. Now stack those 4 facts. Sit with them. Because when you stack them, what you get is not a picture of a man who moved on gracefully. What you get is a picture of a man who allegedly moved on before the paperwork moved anywhere at all. And for a boxer whose entire brand is built on discipline, and for a rapper whose entire brand is built on loyalty, and for a couple whose combined brand is built on Olympic-level focus and elite-level performance, that is a catastrophic, career-terminal strategic error. Papoose is not just losing his marriage. Papoose is losing the very story that made him famous. And you cannot walk back a mythology once the crowd has seen the wires. I know somebody in the comments is going to say, but Remy Ma had her own issues during that marriage. And you know what? Fair. I hear you. I am not sitting here telling you Remy Ma is a saint. Remy Ma is a rapper. Remy Ma has lived a full life. Remy Ma has her own history, her own past, her own timeline. That is real. But here is the thing that separates Remy Ma from Papoose in this exact moment. Remy Ma has never once claimed to be perfect. Remy Ma has claimed, from day one, to be honest. And this weekend, Honesty is undefeated. Honesty is walking around Manhattan with a baby on her hip and a new record on the charts while the two people who tried to bury her testimony are drowning in the very pool they thought was going to save them. Let me pivot for a minute and talk about what this footage actually means beyond the celebrity gossip layer of the whole thing. Because if you really zoom out, this is not just a story about Papoose and Remy Ma and Claressa Shields. This is a story about what happens when a man builds his entire public identity on a woman's forgiveness, and then loses that forgiveness in real time, on camera, in front of the entire audience that gave him his career. Papoose spent years, literal years, using Remy Ma's incarceration as a talking point. Papoose gave interviews about it. Papoose wrote verses about it. Papoose showed up on red carpets telling the world that his love for Remy Ma was living proof that black love was real, that black love could survive prison, that black love could survive anything. And you know what? Millions of us wanted to believe him. Millions of us needed to believe him. Because in a media environment that constantly tells black women that black men will not show up for them, Papoose was Exhibit A, Papoose was the counterexample. Papoose was the receipt every woman used when somebody tried to tell her black love was dead. And when your entire public value is being the counterexample, and then you get caught poolside with a second woman calling you her husband while your first wife is still, legally your wife, you do not just embarrass yourself. You embarrass every single woman who used you as evidence that black love exists. And that betrayal, that specific betrayal, does not fade. That betrayal metastasizes. That betrayal becomes the thing you are known for. 10 years from now, 20 years from now, Papoose is not going to be remembered as the loyal husband who waited for Remy Ma. Papoose is going to be remembered as the man who got filmed in a pool by a boxing champion while his actual wife was in the studio putting his whole legacy in a body bag one bar at a time. Let me draw the New Jersey legal picture out for you, because I know a lot of you asked about this in the comments of the last video and I want to give you a straight answer. Bigamy, the act of being simultaneously legally married to two different people, is a criminal offense under New Jersey Statute 2C-24-1. It is classified as a fourth-degree crime. It carries potential prison time of up to 18 months and fines of up to $10,000. Now, critically, Papoose has not actually married Claressa Shields on paper. There is no marriage certificate on file. So on paper, technically, the HUBBY caption is a social claim, not a criminal one. But, and this is the part the culture writers are missing, in a civil family court proceeding, that HUBBY caption becomes something much more dangerous than a criminal charge. It becomes a piece of documentary evidence. It becomes proof of intent. It becomes proof of cohabitation. It becomes proof of a public romantic and financial entanglement that predates any divorce filing Papoose has still not filed. And if Remy Ma's legal team decides to weaponize that screenshot in an alimony hearing, in a custody negotiation, in a division of assets fight, that one caption is worth its exact weight in courtroom gold. That one word, HUBBY, could redirect the entire financial outcome of the divorce Papoose has not even started yet. Which is exactly why, if I am on Claressa Shields' team right now, I am picking up the phone and I am telling her to log off. I am telling her to delete the pool video. I am telling her to walk that HUBBY caption all the way back before it gets subpoenaed. Because Claressa Shields is not just publicly dating Papoose at this point, Claressa Shields is potentially, and I want to be extremely careful with my language here, potentially opening herself up to being called as a witness in a civil proceeding. And a civil subpoena is a champion's nightmare. That is not a fight Claressa Shields wants. That is a distraction Claressa Shields does not need. That is a legal bill Claressa Shields should not have to pay because she got caught up in the theater of a marriage she was never actually invited into on paper. Now, here is where I have to be honest about something else that has been bothering me every time I have watched the coverage of this story cycle through my feed. There is an undertone in some of the mainstream reporting, and some of you have picked up on it and some of you have not, an undertone that goes something like, well, Remy Ma is older, so of course Papoose traded up to Claressa Shields. I want to shut that down. Right here. Right now. In this video. In front of every single one of you watching. Because Remy Ma is not a downgrade. Remy Ma is a Grammy-nominated, platinum-selling, culture-shifting, generation-defining artist who came home from a federal prison sentence and rebuilt her entire empire from scratch with her bare hands. Remy Ma is a mother. Remy Ma is a mogul. Remy Ma is one of the most respected female voices in hip-hop, in any era, in any region, of any generation. And if you think Papoose traded up because Claressa Shields has a boxing belt, then you fundamentally do not understand what value is. Value is not a title. Value is not a trophy. Value is not a viral pool video with a strategic caption. Value is the person who stayed with you through your worst season. And Papoose had that. Papoose had all of that. And Papoose is now letting a woman in a pool film him publicly losing it. Let me get to the receipts I have not shown you yet. Because everybody on the internet is talking about the pool video. Everybody on the internet is talking about the hubby caption. But nobody is talking about what happened 48 hours before that pool video hit the timeline. 48 hours before Claressa Shields posted that hubby caption, Remy Ma released a freestyle. Not a diss track. Not a full-length record. A freestyle. A short, sharp, surgical freestyle. And in that freestyle, Remy Ma delivered a bar, and I am paraphrasing here to keep the video clean, a bar that essentially accused Papoose of playing both sides of the field. A bar that essentially said the man in the middle of all of this does not have the spine to pick a lane. A bar that essentially told the entire industry, in exactly 16 bars of pure surgical precision, that Papoose was not the loyal soldier hip-hop marketed him as for the last 15 years. That freestyle dropped 48 hours before the pool video. 48 hours. Which means the pool video is not just a pool video. The pool video is a response. The pool video is retaliation. The pool video is Papoose and Claressa Shields desperately trying to say, look how happy we are together, while the woman they are trying to prove it to is currently walking around New York City with a bigger paycheck, a bigger baby glow, and a bigger cultural footprint than the two of them combined. They miscalculated. They miscalculated catastrophically. Because when you try to respond to a woman like Remy Ma, a woman who has been counted out by the industry 3 separate times in her career, a woman who has come back from an actual federal prison sentence, a woman who has fought her way back into cultural relevance without asking for permission, you do not respond with a photo shoot. You respond with silence. Because silence is dignity. And Papoose and Claressa Shields chose the exact opposite of silence. They chose spectacle. And spectacle, in the age of the screenshot, is the fastest possible way to lose a public war. Now here is the twist. Here is the part one do not think a single other creator on YouTube has picked up on yet. And I want you to sit with this one, because it changes the entire read on this whole story. I have watched that pool video roughly 20 times in the last 8 hours. 20 times. And there is a moment, a very short moment, maybe 2 seconds long, right in the middle of the clip, where Papoose looks off camera. He looks off camera, and his lips move. And I replayed it. And I zoomed in. And I sent it to 2 different people who read lips for a living. And what Papoose appears to be saying in that moment, and I want to be careful because I am not a certified forensic lip reader, what Papoose appears to be mouthing is not romantic. It is not affectionate. It is not, I love you. What Papoose appears to be mouthing is something along the lines of, get that thing out of my face. Get that thing out of my face. To the camera. To the woman holding the camera. To the woman who 48 hours later would post a hubby caption Papoose might not have even known was coming. And if that lip read is right, and I believe it is, and my sources believe it is, then this entire poolside romance is a performance that even Papoose is starting to tap out of. Papoose is at the wall. Papoose is a man who is starting to realize that the woman he picked over the woman who waited for him for years is now the woman filming him for captions he never agreed to. And that is the loneliest place a grown man can find himself in the year 2026. Because Papoose cannot go home, he burned that bridge in the pool. Papoose cannot go forward, because forward is another camera. And Papoose cannot stay still, because still is a family court subpoena in the state of New Jersey the second Remy Ma's lawyer decides to get creative with a screenshot. Let me bring this whole thing home, because I have kept you here long enough and I want to leave you with the read that matters. The read is this. Remy Ma is not the villain in this story. Remy Ma is not the bitter ex-wife. Remy Ma is not the scorned woman looking to burn her ex-husband down on her way out the door. Remy Ma is the witness. Remy Ma is the whistleblower. Remy Ma is the person who told you, on the record, in writing, on a public platform, 6 months ago, exactly what was happening inside her marriage, and got called a liar for it by the same audience that is now realizing she was telling the God's honest truth the entire time. And in real time, right now, on your timeline, on your phone, in your feed, the man Remy Ma was talking about is proving her right. Second by second. Caption by caption. Screenshot by screenshot. And Claressa Shields, one more time, Claressa Shields, because I mean this, Claressa Shields, you are a 2-time Olympic gold medalist. You are the undisputed champion of the world in more than one weight class. You are one of the greatest boxers who has ever lived, in any weight class, in any era, of any gender, in the entire history of the sport. You do not need this. You do not need to be somebody's poolside caption on a Wednesday afternoon in August. You do not need to be the HUBBY post that gets read into evidence in a divorce hearing. You do not need to attach the biggest legacy in women's boxing history to a man who could not even file the paperwork on the marriage he is still legally inside of. Because history is going to write this one. And history is going to be extremely, brutally unkind to whoever is standing next to Papoose when the mythology finally goes underwater for good. And Claressa Shields, right this second, right at this exact minute, Claressa Shields is standing right next to him. In a pool. On camera. With a phone in her hand. Calling him her hubby. Claressa Shields, you are better than that. Claressa Shields, you built better than that. And I hope, before August 15th, before whatever go time is supposed to mean on your calendar, Claressa Shields finds a way to walk it back. Because the world is not going to remember the boxing belt. The world is going to remember the caption. And that caption is currently sitting on the wrong side of history. So tell me in the comments. Tell me right now. Am I reading too much into this, or am I dead on accurate? Was Remy Ma telling the truth this entire time while the internet was calling her bitter? Should Claressa Shields walk that caption back before the New Jersey court system gets creative with it? And do you think, this is the one I actually want to know, this is the one I am reading every single comment on, do you think Papoose is going to make it out of this news cycle with his career intact, or is this the poolside afternoon that history is going to look back on as the exact hour the mythology drowned? Tell me. Argue with each other in the comments. Change my mind if you can. Because I am reading every single response, and the next chapter of this story, and there is a next chapter, and it is coming fast, is going to land on your timeline within 72 hours. I have 3 more receipts I did not put in this video. 3 more. I am holding them on purpose. Because when they drop, and they will drop, I want every single one of you to be looking exactly where I am looking. That is the tape. That is the tape. That is the tape. Talk to me in the comments. I will see you in the very next video.